Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the NFL Super Friends here on the Chase Thomas podcast, where I'm still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ, all the way over there on the West Coast. The man is just really flashing the San Francisco 49ers chain here. It's Mr. Evan Sowards of 49ershub.com and everywhere else on the social media TikTok star with him and Milo. Evan, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Not as good as Drew Lock.
Very ASMR-ish, that intro, you know?
I was trying to go for NPR, very calm, reserved, not absolutely losing my mind that these fraud-ass Eagles lost again to give the 49ers the 1 seed. Good to be back, boys.
Cowboys go down, then the Eagles go down. It's been a good weekend for Evan Swords, but I will say, before we get, y'all have got to give me one thing.
Nope.
Before we get into anything else here. I love the note from Evan real quick.
If we're talking about anything involving one of your football teams, I want nothing to do.
No, it's actually not a football team of mine.
Okay. Yeah.
I got a lot of flack from JP Acosta, SB Nation, Jarrett Bailey, USA Today, Behind the Steel Curtain, and the Pump Pick, and Evan Swords of 49ers Hub before the year in our preseason
I know exactly
pick'em.
where he's going with this.
I got a lot of grief. I said I didn't see a path to a certain team if a certain quarterback was healthy for the full year, missing the playoffs. I didn't see it. The NFC was pretty open. It's kind of bad. Still enough top-end talent where I was like, the coaching staff's still really good. I don't know how they don't make the playoffs. And I got a lot of pushback that they are going to be awful. And don't look now, folks, but the Los Angeles Rams are going to make the playoffs, and Matt Stafford's the best quarterback in the NFC. This was... I want to get... Do I get some credit for the Rams pick and not going away from the Rams pick? I've been on this all year.
You deserve credit for that.
You absolutely deserve credit.
You deserve
Absolutely.
credit for that.
They're better men than I am. I will say this. You deserve better. You deserve credit for it, but there's no world, gun to your head, that you would have ever in your life bet that the rookies that they have playing as well as they're playing were going to play this well.
This was kind of like when you go to like the carnival and you're playing the little water gun game and you're just spraying at everything and you hit one.
They call that spray and pray.
Yeah, you're spraying and praying. And
no, like for real though. Like first and foremost, they're 7-7. Okay, so like let's chill out a little bit. But they legitimately have arguably at one point the best receiver in the NFL in Cooper Kupp, and he got injured, and Puka Nacua came in and said, I will literally be exactly what Cooper Kupp was in terms of production, except maybe some more.
And Stafford was throwing dimes yesterday. Stafford was out here dealing.
Out of his mind.
He's been phenomenal.
It's crazy that we were going from he might retire to this.
He's probably comeback player of the year.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know. The comeback player of the year, like,
you don't want it to be Drew Lock?
Is very thin.
Still had the one game.
I mean, the pool is very thin. But like we said, Stafford might be the best quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah. Hold off, Evan. We'll talk Brock Purdy in a second. Hold on. We'll talk Brock Purdy in a second. And that voice right there, Jarrett Bailey of USA Today, Behind the Steel Curtain and the Pump Pick. Jarrett, good evening, sir. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. I'm doing well. Not as well as Drew Lock is right now, obviously. What a hell of a game from Drew Lock. NFC West, rise up apparently. My goodness, what a time it is to be alive.
The NFC West, kind of spicy all over the place.
Yeah. I wish that my team was, having a better season. It's my birthday this weekend. They're gonna let me down.
Happy early birthday, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When is your birthday?
Friday, the 22nd.
Oh, my wife is the 24th.
I'm sorry that your team is out here losing for the sake of a better draft pick. You have no decency to accept the birthday gift that they're giving you.
It's not a birthday gift. Have you watched the Steelers this year? It's tough. They're not even fun bad. They're just tough bad.
I'd be grateful for it if I knew that they were going to do something of worth in the offseason and make actual changes, but that's not how the Steelers work. So
I mean, they're also not going to be picking like anywhere close to like the top 10.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Right now they hold the number 16 pick. That's probably as high as they're gonna get.
Like, this is just every Steelers year, like since like 2019.
The thing that's crazy though is because it's Mike Tomlin that like the worst. Like this 7-7 Steelers team is like more like a 2 or 3 win team anywhere else. Like Mike Tomlin is just like dragging them.
No, he's not. He's dragging them down. He's not dragging them up.
My brother in Christ, you have 7 wins with maybe the worst quarterbacking I've ever seen in my life.
If Evan gets the floor for a 49ers rant every week, I'm getting the fucking floor for a Mike Tomlin rant now because I am so tired of this goddamn argument. Mike Tomlin. This is not the first time we've seen a late season collapse from Mike Tomlin. 2009, the Steelers were 6-2. They finished off 9-7, missed the playoffs. 2012, 6-3, finished off 8-8, missed the playoffs. 2018, 7-2-1, finished 9-6-1, missed the playoffs. 2020, 11-0, that's cool. Then they lose 4 of their last 5, and then a wild card game where a bunch of Browns had COVID. Kevin Stefanski wasn't even coaching the game because he had COVID. They lose to the Browns in the wild card, so they lose 5 of their last 6. And then 2023 now, they are the start of 7-4. They are now 7-7, losing consecutive games to 2 2-win teams, the first team in NFL history to do such a thing. And then they lose to the Colts, who, I mean, I expected them to lose to the Colts. Shane Steichen's done a phenomenal job with that unit. But 3 straight losses now to the Colts. We need to start acknowledging that this thing has very much hit its peak with Mike Tomlin. And hindsight being 2020, it probably did in 2017. When they got a first-round bye, and then they overlooked JP's Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Bortles dropped 45 on them, and they haven't had a playoff win since the year prior to that when they got to the AFC Championship game and then got dismantled by the Patriots. That's the last time that they had a playoff win was 2016. Wow. So we need to stop with this. We can do 2 things. As a Steelers fan, I've been doing it. I like Mike Tomlin, and we can completely acknowledge that his accomplishments are incredible. He's one of the best coaches of his era. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But holy hell, this thing has hit a wall. And for whether they want to admit it, whether he wants to admit it, he doesn't change. He's stuck in his ways, and his ways don't win you games that matter anymore. When you look at the best teams in the NFL, it's the Chiefs, offensive head coach, great quarterback. It's the Eagles, offensive-minded head coach, really good roster, good quarterback. It's the 49ers, great offensive head coach, great weapons, good quarterback. The Dolphins, great offensive-minded head coach, good weapons, good quarterback. Mike Tomlin, the defensive head coach, who won a Super Bowl 15 years ago off the strength of a defense and not a very good offense. People don't tend to remember that. The Steelers' offense wasn't great that year. You're not winning like that anymore. You're not winning games that matter like that anymore. And right now, not even right now, the past 3 years, the Mike Tomlin game plan has been, let's hold teams to under 21 points and we'll win the game. Okay, good luck doing that in a playoff game if you make it in Arrowhead. Because guess what? They tried it, and then they got blown out of Arrowhead in 2021 in Ben Roethlisberger's last game.
Though.
What's that?
No one's talking playoffs.
What do you mean no one's talking playoffs?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's like the Steelers have, I think, the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. It's like tandem together, like the worst quarterback lineup. If you look at Trubisky, you look at Pickett.
It's certainly among it.
I think it's the worst. Like, I mean, everything that Tomlin did was with good quarterbacks. I'm not saying that he's still. I hear you. He's hit a wall, but I don't know, man.
How much of it Tomlin though is I wonder, Jarrett, because I think there are some the grass is always greener, and I think you sometimes worry about some of these coaches where you want to move on, and I'm obviously Patriots fans are ready to move on from Belichick, and there is the grass is always greener. You feel good about that, but I wonder, is there some angst though, because you just see how many teams have gotten the next coach wrong and have moved on from that stability that you're like, what if Tomlin got the guy? How much of this is just not Tomlin messing up the Matt Canada stuff and also not having a franchise quarterback?
I think the perfect counterpoint to that is the other side of the state. The Eagles, do you think that they were probably a little bit nervous when they fired Andy Reid? Yeah. Do you think that in hindsight they regret it? No, because they played in 2 Super Bowls. They've won 1. And, and they are a perfect yin to the Steelers yang in terms of how they are ran. Because the Eagles, they'll look at it and say, okay, what can we do to get better? Let's do it. We'll trade for an A.J. Brown. If we got to make tough decisions, we just paid Carson Wentz a lot of money, but he stinks. We're going to trade him. Can we bring in a Kevin Byard? Let's bring in a Kevin Byard. Should we sign a Shaq Leonard? Let's sign a Shaq Leonard. They do things so much to the complete opposite of what the Steelers do, and they're successful because they do things the opposite of what the Steelers do. And they're living proof of that.
I hate to be this guy, but
be that guy.
I think Howie Roseman's a little bit overrated as general manager. Cool, you draft all the Georgia guys. Everybody would be smart enough to do that. Like, it's not just some mastermind from here. Like, oh, that guy fell to 30. He played at Georgia. Let's just draft him. It's not that hard. The Jalen Carter thing. I think the Eagles get far too much credit for like, oh, how did the NFL let these teams pass on Jalen Carter? We all know why teams pass on Jalen Carter. You do not have to do this. Also, Howie Roseman's entire concept of drafting is not drafting. He only drafts offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and wide receivers in the first round. And now you're seeing the problems with this Eagles team. You are seeing the direct problems of that. Where are the Eagles' biggest problems? Corner, they're old. They can't cover anybody. On the last drive against the Seahawks, they played man down the field and got walked down by Drew Lock. Like, of course, DK Metcalf made superhuman plays, but that's why you signed James Bradberry. But James Bradberry's old. Like, you are signing aging old stars. Kevin Byard is cool. He brings up that floor of that safety room, but they are old. The linebacker room sucks. Like, that is one of the worst linebacker rooms for a contending team.
That's been their problem for like a few years now, is they don't really have anybody to anchor them in.
And the reason why is because Howie Roseman thinks linebackers don't matter. But in the modern NFL, off-ball linebackers absolutely matter. They absolutely do. Think about what the 49ers like to do. Think about where the 49ers like to target teams, over the middle of the field. What do you think they have on the other side of the ball? Linebackers that can prevent that. That is the most valuable part of the field. They want to force you to make the tough outside the numbers throws. Howie Roseman doesn't have anything to do that. Like, we've gotten so deep into off-ball linebackers don't matter that we didn't see that. Most people did not see the offensive and defensive schematic shift that was coming back around. Like, you can say off-ball linebackers don't matter until you're playing a 205-pound linebacker and a guard is hitting him in the face every play, or you're trotting out Nick freaking Morrow in 2023. Shaq Leonard is clearly not what he once was. So I think we just give Howie Roseman a little bit too much credit.
Let's just say this real quick, because I've been wanting to say this for a while, and I think we'll get into it. I think right now in this NFL, with where the NFL is going, with how athletic defensive ends are getting, everyone's going to be trying to do this every year for the rest of our lives. And I don't know how long it's going to take to change, but I think the window to be successful and win a Super Bowl is so small now, and things have to be so perfectly lined up that, like, I don't think there's really going to be this is the blueprint to win the Super Bowl, because like like you could have an elite quarterback now, and the NFL is so, like, defenses are so good, like defensive ends are so good. Like, Trevor Lawrence is one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in a long time. The Jaguars will come nowhere close to contending for probably a very long time. The Bills, like, every time the Bills get really good, they take a step back. Right now, they've got all the momentum in the world. But, like, look, the 49ers is the best example in the world. The 49ers have had the best roster of the NFL almost exclusively for the last 3 or 4 years, and it hasn't been enough. And maybe this year is the year that it is enough. But, like, I just don't know that there's a blueprint anymore.
So I think the thing with that is when you have a great franchise quarterback, you can't stretch them too thin. Like, I think teams kind of go, we have a franchise quarterback. We can surround him with Joe Schmoes on the offensive line and at the wide receiver spot, and he'll just will us to a championship. But I would say that doesn't happen anymore, but the Chiefs just did it last year. But even then, like, the Chiefs receiver room last year was it was much better than what it is now. But I think they also
But that's my point, though. Last year they were bad and they won the Super Bowl. This year they're worse, but and it's now the biggest deal in the world. I'm not going to even say they were good last year. MVS is not tipping the scale for me. They had a bad receiver room last year.
No, the person that tipped the scale was Juju, and he's gone.
I don't think it was a bad receiver room. I don't even think it's like a super good receiver room. I think
I'd say it's probably similar.
It's complementary. The Chiefs receiver room right now isn't complementary. They have 3 deep threats and 4 running back receiver types.
Right.
And Rashee Rice. That's not going to do it. That's not going to cut it right now. You got to be able to find something to kind of tie the in-between game.
But let's be more organized about shit talking the Eagles, because I want to do it thoroughly across the board. I don't know if we got to say this on the pod, but I know I got to say it on Twitter. So I want to reiterate, and then we could start the conversation about the Eagles from there. We kind of actually already talked about the Eagles, but last year they played the 49ers in the NFC Championship. Within the first 5 minutes, quarterback got injured. They proceeded to beat the shit out of the 49ers and their other 4 QBs. They couldn't really do anything. What are you going to expect? But after that game, they then went on and immediately lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Fans would have you believe that they were the greatest team on earth before and after that loss all offseason. I've never experienced NFL fandom the way I have with the Philadelphia Eagles. I can confidently say they're the worst fan base in any sport that I've ever personally come across. It's insane, especially when you use Twitter. But regardless of that, beat the 49ers with no quarterback, lose in the Super Bowl, go into the offseason thinking they're the best team in the NFL. Play a bunch of bad teams all year long, play really well, but finally play the 49ers with a quarterback and get dog walked, then play the Cowboys, who got beat to shit by the 49ers too, and get dog walked by the Cowboys, and then go in to a very bad, very underwhelming Seattle Seahawks team, and they lose to Drew Lock, their backup quarterback. I'm so just baffled where these Eagles fans get the gumption to run around as if their team is not a walking punchline.
So to be fair, they did beat the Cowboys. They didn't get swept by the Cowboys this year. Yeah. They did beat.
It was a close game though.
Sure,
it's a divisional game too, man.
But my point is, if the first game is close, okay, it's a divisional game, and then you get the shit kicked out of you.
Sure. But I think the Eagles' problems this year are tied to a couple of things. The first one is Shane Steichen took most of the juice play calling, and not just most of the juice play calling. It is giving Jalen Hurts a wiser voice in his ear. I think the passing game has been so disjointed for the Eagles this year, not only in the design, but in the execution. You don't see a lot of last year, they killed teams with the glance RPOs, where they'd run that split zone, bluff, and then they would have AJ Brown run a bang 8 right behind the linebacker, right in front of the safety. That was littered all over that tape. But now you don't see those anymore. You're missing that portion, and you've turned AJ Brown into basically just a deep threat receiver. While he's very good at that, AJ Brown is one of the best receivers after the catch in the NFL. So it feels like the offense is just kind of turtled within itself, where it's all runs, bubble RPOs, and go routes. And that's not a sustainable way to win games against teams of similar talent. Defensively, they got old. And not only did they get old, first of all, I don't think Jonathan Gannon was that great. I also don't think Sean Desai was much of an improvement over Jonathan Gannon. But letting Jonathan Gannon walk, to hire Sean Desai, to fire Sean Desai, to hire Matt Patricia, or not fire Sean Desai, demote Sean Desai, to promote Matt Patricia, is the biggest downgrade I think I've ever seen from a contending team in the middle of a season. It's not like this team is out of it and they fire their defense coordinator.
I'm just confused, though. Can anybody tell me, did Matt Patricia save this defense? Does anybody think that Matt Patricia saved the defense?
The Seahawks had a 10-play, 92-yard drive.
By their backup quarterback, Drew Lock.
and the Eagles played man the entire drive.
No safety help either.
Listen, JP,
What are you doing?
You know Drew Lock puts on for his city. He
That's
tried
right.
telling you.
That's right. He put that shit on. Drew Lock ain't gonna do nothing but put that shit on.
He put that shit
He
on.
put that shit on. But look, man, this is what you sign up for when you ask Matt Patricia to lead a defense. I think we kind of looked at the Patriots Matt Patricia era with rose-tinted glasses, but Matt Patricia led one of the worst Patriots defenses of the Belichick era and got 45 dropped on him in the Super Bowl by Nick Foles, and also almost lost to Blake Bortles and the Jaguars. Like, I think we look
He's
at that
got a
team,
thing for mid-white backup quarterbacks.
like it's a very concerning trend. So they have a lot of problems, but these problems have been there all year. It's time for some like internalized, like, hey, we can't keep going on like this. We have to incorporate some easy stuff into this offense. We can't play man. Don't play man again. I know it's like, I think they oscillate so much. And I guess it's because Matt Patricia just took over. They oscillate so much between, we're going to play off Vic Fangio style quarters, quarter, half. And then, we're going to get in your face and run cover one. Like, there needs to be a better blend of those things. And also, their secondary is bad this year. Mm-hmm. It is bad. Not only because Darius Slay and James Bradbury got old, but again, Howie Roseman, this is the problem when you draft poorly. They haven't drafted a corner on like the first 2 days of the draft since, I believe, 2011. Let me check, because my friend AJ Schulte has done this research. The Eagles haven't spent a top 100 pick on a corner since 2017. And before then, it was Eric Rowe in 2015 and then Curtis Marsh in 2011. That's not going to win you football games. So this is just kind of, it's a mix of everything. But, I mean, you're probably going to get the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So you're going to run into San Francisco or Dallas again. So we'll just talk then, I guess.
Well, that leads to the Niners for a second here. Oh, go ahead,
hold
Jarrett.
on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jarrett, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that the top three teams in the NFC are basically just let's talk in January, because, the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, they're all going to have to go through one another. So it'll be.
Oh, wow.
We'll talk then.
I would be very, very concerned if Dallas has to play Detroit. That is
Detroit too. You know what?
Always
that's a very
that has been the one
omission.
game that I circled as the Cowboys have played this year, because, and we're going to talk about like the Cowboys later, but getting 276 yards dropped on you. Of course, Jonathan Hankins was out, which is a big piece of that. But look, man, you got the Dolphins and the Lions coming up.
Yeah,
that's not a great sign for the run defense.
No. Well, let's talk Niners real quick here for Mr. Swords. Brock Purdy playing really good football.
Get into it?
Yeah.
Let me just say, I was literally going to say about the 49ers, I don't even need to talk. I don't even want to say anything. I'd love for you guys, as you know, it's hard for me to accept that they really are a Super Bowl contenders since I know nothing but pain. I would really love for you guys to maybe tell me why I shouldn't be worried the 49ers have a good chance to win the Super Bowl.
Win the Super Bowl or just get there?
Win, dog.
It's not about getting there.
Dog, the 49ers have gotten to the Super Bowl 2 times and have lost both times in my adult life. I am not worried about getting there.
Getting there don't matter at this
point.
I
can't stress this enough. I don't think I saw one Niners won the NFC West job, good guys tweet. I don't think I saw one. Not that I expect one, but I don't like the Niners fans are like I literally said a tweet like 2 weeks ago and after beating the Eagles, and I was like, I don't want to say it. I know you guys know what I'm saying, but I don't want to say it. But I swear to God. And like, I didn't say it. And everyone was like, I know exactly what you're saying, dude. I'm not going to say it either, but I agree.
The only reason for concern if I was a 49ers fan right now, is just health. Like that's really it. Like you got the
Who's
one
the worst
seed.
AFC matchup? I feel like it's the Ravens for them if they get the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I'd say
probably.
Yeah.
Because I think the Ravens defensively match up with the Niners offensively better than any team that they've played this year so far, mainly because they have 2 linebackers worth a damn.
Yeah.
Like if the Niners have the best linebacker in the league, the Ravens have the second best linebacker in the league. And Patrick Queen is really coming to his own this year. Kyle Hamilton is a beast. And I just don't want to face Lamar. That is such a pain in the ass. Believe me, as a fan of a team who has seen Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, seen the 49ers death machine, who else? God, who else have they played this year? Yeah, those are like the 4. Like
it's
Lamar,
crazy. The Niners just have to keep playing the best team, like the best possible team in the moment. Like they had to play the Cowboys when they had the best defense and they were on a 5-game winning streak. They had to play the Eagles when they were just like at their peak. Now they got to play the fucking Ravens. Like the Niners, if they do win
what's
the
the
Super
Niners'
Bowl,
remaining schedule?
it's the Ravens. Then who else?
Is Ravens Sunday night, Monday night? What is Ravens?
Exactly. Goes Ravens, Commanders, Rams.
Yeah, they
Ravens
finished with
is
the
next
Rams.
Monday night on Christmas.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I didn't
Wait, you didn't know that
game? No, I didn't know it was Christmas night.
No, it's
literally all anybody's been talking about all day long.
Biggest game of the year.
Okay.
I just would not want to face Lamar right now.
Yeah.
That dude is playing out of his mind. And I saw the outline. I'm kind of going to jump a little bit, but he is so good at making everybody else on the field look stupid. Like, I promise you, against the Jaguars, he was not running at full speed. He's never running at full speed in a football game. And he's just so much smoother and quicker. His pocket movement is phenomenal. Like it's not like sporadic or like spastic, like Josh Allen, like scrambling out the pocket, or even Mahomes at times. It's more just like a glide. Like he glides across the field. And then you also add in the fact that he is the most dangerous person with the football in the NFL. Like he has become, not even become, he is instant offense as a quarterback.
I'll say, and I think Baltimore is amongst, in terms of like the worst matchups for the 49ers, I'll say Buffalo. Just because of what they've done the past 2 weeks, not just offensively, but defensively, their depth has flexed their muscles. They held Kansas City to 17 points, and they just held Dallas to 10. 27 points to 2 of the best teams in football, and they did so against Dallas. They didn't give up a touchdown against Dallas till garbage time as well, by the way. And they did that without Micah Hyde. They did it without AJ Epinesa. And they've had guys really step up recently. Like Taylor Rapp had a really nice game yesterday. Their linebackers have stepped up in relief of Matt Milano being gone. Leonard Floyd has had 2 really good games back-to-back. He's had a really nice season, actually, since they brought him over this offseason. So their defense has really stepped up. And against Dallas, Joe Brady, by the way, has been such a godsend as a play caller. Not just because he's utilizing the middle of the field more and his play calling is more innovative. He's made James Cook not just a role guy. He's made him a prominent figure in the Bills' offense. James Cook has 362 yards of total offense over the past 2 weeks and 3 touchdowns. And I don't think that the game plan going into the week was we're just going to run the hell out of the ball. But once they realize that, they can't stop this, we're just going to keep doing it. I think that Joe Brady deserves a ton of credit for that because I don't think Ken Dorsey would have. And there was a lot of talk early on in the season about, like, even if the Bills were good at running the football, they just don't want to. And they showed against Dallas that they are more than capable of doing it. And they did it in such a, like, it wasn't just a James Cook game. It was a Spencer Brown game. It was a Mitch Morse game. It was a Deion Dawkins game. And they didn't need, like, Josh Allen threw for 97 yards and they beat the Dallas Cowboys by 3 touchdowns. Like, that's absurd. And it speaks volumes to how good the offensive line played, how good James Cook played, and how good the defense played. So if Buffalo gets hot And right now they are hot, and their next 2 games on the schedule are the Easton Stick-led Chargers and the New England Patriots before they face Miami for what could be for the division in Week 18. Buffalo's the last team I want to run into right now because obviously they got that alien at quarterback, and their defense is clicking right now. And again, without Matt Milano, they've dealt with a lot of injuries this year, and maybe that Ty Dunn article is what they needed to give them a kick in the ass because they have played phenomenal since then. So Buffalo's the last team I want to see right now.
So my biggest concern with Buffalo, especially in a matchup with the 49ers, is they're going to need a non-Stephon Diggs receiver to show up to the building because what the Niners do so well is they bring the aggression defensively. It's not just they play quarters. They are pressing. They are in your face. And if you can just throw off the timing and force somebody else to win that, then they kind of have you beat because then you're holding the ball longer. And then that defensive line is just going to completely overwhelm you. Selfishly, I kind of want to see a Dolphins-Niners matchup.
I would love that. I would bet every dollar I'd ever have in my life if they did that.
I kind of want to because I want to see how Mike McDaniel and the offense has grown from the last time that they faced the 49ers. The 49ers kind of blew up the Dolphins spot last year by just pressing and playing man. But I think Mike McDaniel has found answers for that. I also think I also think they're a lot better at running the ball now. Dude, they're 21 personnel or 20 personnel with Achane and Mostert is so freaking fun.
Yeah, Mostert's not doing that against the 49ers, though.
It's
the Dolphin DeLorean, you mean?
It's so cool because they just throw so much at you with misdirection, and it's just so fun to watch. But
I'm not going to lie. I asked you guys to tell me why the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl and gave you an opportunity for me to shut the fuck up. No, stop. I let you in. Shut the fuck up.
No, you added on the question.
I proceeded to hear you then talk about literally every other team
you added
on the planet.
To the question.
I also I was not what was the first thing I asked. So
but
let
you
me
asked
just
another
say,
question.
let me tell you why. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Because no, if the Niners play the Dolphins, they would shit stomp them. It would not be close. The only teams I'm actually worried about in the NFL right now currently might just be the team that they're playing on Christmas. That really is, to me, the last test. If they play the Eagles, they will destroy them. If they play the Cowboys, they will destroy them. If they play the Rams last week, I don't care. They're going to destroy them. Playing the 49ers is like having a fist fight with a chainsaw. Like the only way you're going to beat the 49ers at this point is if someone gets injured. That's it. They've played every single possible team this year, and the better the team is, the worse they beat them.
So I think the Niners are the favorites, and they probably will win the Super Bowl because you never know whose day is going to be offensively. You never know who's going to be the star. So they just – sure, Christian McCaffrey's having a slow day. We'll just flex him out to receiver, put Debo in the backfield. Brandon Ayuk is kind of the forgotten man in this offense, and he is one of the better receivers in the NFL.
He's having a breakoff season, yeah.
He's having a great year. George Kittle's phenomenal. He's always been phenomenal. They can hit you so many different ways.
The part of that, though, that people aren't talking about that I'm surprised because I'm dumb and I never expect myself to be the one leading these conversations. But, like, if you look at the teams that have played the 49ers this year, there have been close games the first 2 or 3 quarters. And eventually, teams just lose the energy. They can't keep up anymore. And that's the thing I don't think people quite understand is like everyone is like looking at these games and being like, oh, well, they played really close and they got kind of – no, they're a chainsaw. It's a fist fight against a chainsaw. And eventually, whether it is Ayuk, whether it is Debo or Kittle, or it's Trent Williams not letting you touch the quarterback once, or Nick Bosa being the guy that you have to block, and then you have Cleveland Farrell, who like he's playing very well this year because that's just what happens. Like they are unstoppable, and the only thing that will stop them is the 49ers luck. That's it.
That'd be a great uniform matchup though. Dolphins Niners, we get that. That's gonna be pretty.
They have to wear the throwbacks.
Yes,
it has to be a throwback.
Oh,
I think the Dolphins Niners wearing the throwbacks would be great, but the only thing I will say is the Niners have an opportunity this year to play one of two teams that have beat them in a Super Bowl, and I think that's way more important than playing the Dolphins. Like, I think a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl matchup after the Niners beat them on Christmas, I think that would be huge. Or if the Niners lose on Christmas, I love the opportunity of seeing a team play with 2 weeks left in the season and then meeting in the Super Bowl, and it being a rematch from 10 years ago.
That's not bad. It's a good storyline. It'd be juicy. That'd be a fun battle. And I think you can make the case that's the two best teams in
Lamar deserves a Super Bowl chance too.
Yeah.
I have so many memes stored for this game.
JP's ready. Jarrett, who you got? Flacco or DeVito as a bigger mid-season QB surprise for you?
This is so stupid. I gotta say, I've really enjoyed the renaissance of Joe Flacco. Coming off his couch, joining Cleveland. And I remember I was watching Chris Long's podcast. It was after his first game, or after he just got signed, somewhere in the past few weeks. He was talking about how like he ran into Joe somewhere, and he asked him like what his plans were. And Flacco said, I kind of want to keep playing. And Chris Long said, really? And lo and behold, obviously it happened. Look, he's played really well in the 3 games that he's played. Now, he did have 3 picks against the Bears. And I think a lot of that is just the fact that, he's still getting the timing down with Amari Cooper, still getting the timing down with the rest of the receivers and whatnot. A lot of it just looked like timing issues with the interceptions. And the fact that it didn't phase him. He then proceeded to throw just a hilarious. If you go back and watch the all 22 of this touchdown that he throws to Amari Cooper in a window with 3 Bears around him coming in on an inbreaker, it was I watched it and I literally was like, Joe Flacco, you son of a bitch. Like, he doesn't waver, and the arm talent is still there. And now Cleveland has all but locked down a wild card spot. Whomever they play in the wild card round, they're not going to be an easy out. I think that Flacco has definitely been like the bigger one just because the Browns are in playoff contention. It's the 4th quarterback that they've gone through this season. Kevin Stefanski right now has to be coach of the year, by the way. With all the injuries that they've dealt with on both sides of the ball, and the fact that they have 9 wins, are holding the top wild card spot, they're going to be a playoff team. Flacco's definitely been the more impactful one just because like the Giants are 5-9 right now. DeVito's been like a fun, like meme story, but it's not like he's played great. Like it's more for like the goofy vibes than anything why people like DeVito so much. I'm kind of over it, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Boo!
I was over it. I was over it when the family negotiated the visit made him like charge like $10,000 more.
No, like it's maybe I'm just a humbug when it comes to stuff like this, but it's fun. Like, it's a cult player. He'll never have to buy a drink in New York again. It's fun. But like he's not great. Like, let's look at his stat line from the game from last Monday night against Green Bay. Like, yeah, they won, and he, I guess, had a game-winning drive, but like he didn't play great. It was more so Joe Barry's just a really bad defensive coordinator. And then against the Saints, I think he got knocked out, and then he came back in. I'll have to go back and revisit it, but he didn't play great. The Giants still aren't good. The more impactful signing has absolutely been Flacco because the Browns actually have playoff aspirations. The more like vibey signing, I guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? Emergence has been DeVito just because people like Italian food and doing this apparently. But
okay, don't act like noises.
Don't act like it was.
Don't act like it's not fun. You're not better than that. You're not better than that at all.
You think you're better than us?
I gotta tell you, I have not in the past month since he's taken over a quarterback. I have not once until now done this. So
but you don't have to do this to appreciate it. It's
fun.
Respect
the big ragu. You have no respect, sir.
Dog. He has a like. You're too young to not love that his agent came out looking the way he did the first night.
And he continues to do it.
He came out dressed like the wearing like an all green suit yesterday. He looked like
with the Concord Jordan 11s, by the way.
Yeah.
Incredible move.
I don't know if that is, but he
yes,
looked
you do.
The Notre Dame logo if he like got a trust fund. Like that's what it reminded me.
But that's the thing. He didn't even look like a trust fund baby to me. He literally looked like a Reddit edgelord that like just so happened to come upon somebody.
I'm not dunking on him or anything. He seems like a fun guy.
But that's what was part of the charm for me. Like it really looked like a guy that just like lived on Reddit, like found $100,000 on the ground, and that was like the first outfit he bought.
I cannot believe you said you didn't know what the Concord 11s were.
I'm not a sneakerhead, man.
I'm not either. I don't know what they are.
The white and black Jordan 11.
Oh, is that what those are?
Iconic. Yeah.
They're one of the most iconic Jordans ever.
And they're also
if we see it, we know.
It's very much one of those situations.
Yeah.
I would pronounce it Concord.
The only thing I know about Jordans is what they sing about in the song 23 whenever Juicy J says Flu Game 12, Space Jam 11s. That's the extent of my knowledge on like basketball.
I do remember they made Space Jam Jordans at one point. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Galaxy?
I have them.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Those look pretty cool. I remember those back in the day.
Yeah.
Was it like a decade ago?
I mean, longer than that, dog.
Is it really? We're old, Evan. I remember that being a big release date.
Those shoes were literally, I mean, Space Jam came out in like 93, 96, something like that.
But I think they did like but they did like a...
They just brought them out again. That doesn't mean, that's not, they've re-released them a couple times.
Oh, I didn't know that. I had the i3s when I played AAU and everything. I was a big Allen Iverson, the zip up ones, and then I like the T-Max.
And junior high, I had the John Wall like Reebok Zig-Tex.
If you ever say that in junior high you had John Wall shoes again, I will fight you.
It's a different era, Evan.
I'm too old to be hearing that. I had when I was in junior high, what shoes did I have?
I also junior high must be an up north thing. Did y'all call it junior high? We just called it middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
Yeah, it's middle school.
Did they call it junior high in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's referred to. At least at my school, like it was junior
high.
I was like 7th and 8th grade.
In my like 4th and 5th grade, I think I had the Grant Hills. To tell you how old
I didn't know he had a shoe deal. What was Grant Hill's shoes? Hold on.
He was wearing Felix, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I had the John Wall. He had like the Reebok Zig-Tex, and then the next year,
You're right,
8th grade, I got the Derrick Rose Audi Zeros, which, by the way, a really intricate shoe because like they really didn't weigh anything. But bro, they felt, I can't even describe what they felt like on my feet. It was weird. It was kind of like water shoes on
Adidas makes great shoes that look good on your feet, but they're terrible for any sport.
Yeah, man. Like I wasn't a fan of like they looked good, but I wasn't a fan of like wearing them too much. But I grew up a Bulls fan. Derrick Rose is one of my favorite athletes of all time. Actually, sitting on my desk right now is a Derrick Rose bobblehead. So growing up a Bulls fan and wearing like I wore number 1. I had his shoes. I did his free throw routine too. That was he banged the back of his head and dribbled it 4 times, spun it. I did that. Everything that Derrick Rose did, I wanted to be Derrick Rose as a 14-year-old. And so I had his shoes. And once he got traded from Chicago, I cried. And then that was kind of when my love for basketball began to die.
I want to be Mark Brunell.
Really?
Yeah, that
I
makes
had that
sense.
jersey. I had lefty.
Yeah, that totally tracks, actually.
I also had the Kerry Collins Panthers jersey. I was all in.
Really? That is, you just. I mean, I don't even have a joke to make about a Kerry Collins jersey because that is the punchline.
I have a Jamarcus Russell.
The guy was a legend. He kept going. Right, good for him. Penn State legend, Kerry Collins.
Jamarcus Russell jersey is in my closet right now.
Raiders or LSU?
Raiders.
Yeah.
Why?
One of my closest friends had it, actually. I can't remember why he had it, but he had a bunch of jerseys at one point.
It was popular in Atlanta for a while. I remember seeing a lot of people with the Woodson Raiders jersey and the Russell Raiders jersey.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders jerseys are just clean by themselves, but I think he got it. But it's like an official like patch, all that type of stuff. So I don't know how much he paid for it or when he got it. But
JP is not a fan.
I remember it. I hung it in my dorm room. So I had a Johnny Manziel fathead next to a Jamarcus Russell jersey in my freshman year dorm room. And I remember I posted a picture of it on Twitter, and Mike Freeman from USA Today said something about it and like made a joke about it, and that's how that was like my first interaction with Mike Freeman. So good times.
There you go. Which naturally brings us to another
that's quite
question.
the tangent.
I mean, this is, hey, it's fun. I'm about it. Buy or sell JP Acosta. The Chargers should go after a big name like Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick for their next head coach, or they should go a different route and maybe go younger and unproven for their next guy.
So I'm going to temporarily sell.
Okay.
I don't think that they should go after Jim Harbaugh because I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to leave. I thought he was going to be, if anything, Jim Harbaugh is a Midwestern ass dude. Like he is such a Midwestern dude that I doubt he goes back. I doubt he goes back to California.
I mean, what he has coached 3 teams in California.
Yeah, I'm doubting he goes back.
I would say he's probably more Californian than you think. Don't let the milk and slacks
But he is also so uniquely like Michigan, and also they're giving him like an extension that he's going to.
Let me just say, I feel like it depends on who wins the presidential election. It just depends on whether or not he moves.
So yeah, I don't think it's going to be Harbaugh. I don't think it's going to be Belichick either. I don't know if Belichick actually like wants to continue coaching. Of course, he wants to get Shula's record, but I don't know if the Chargers are. I mean, of course they have Justin Herbert, but outside of that team kind of stinks. Yeah. But I can also see the Chargers' aversion with wanting to go with another young and unproven coach. I'm still of the belief that maybe Ben Johnson just doesn't want to be a head coach. I think he's really
been banging that gavel this year.
I really think he's fine just calling up plays and calling up 12-yard digs for Jared Goff and just never, ever, 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 ever catching any flack. That's a perfectly fine career to have.
Maybe he talked to Dick LeBeau a lot in the off seasons. He's just been spending a lot of time with Dick LeBeau, and Dick's like, look, man, like loved my time as at DC. Like I was a legend in Pittsburgh. I did the whole head coaching thing. Let me tell you, people hate you. It's not as fun. You have to worry about the offense. No, just worry about one side of the ball. You're gonna love it.
I doubt Dan Quinn actually ever gets a head coaching gig again. Not because he isn't good at his job, but he just doesn't want to. Head coaching kind of sucks.
Well, I mean, when you're Dan Quinn, do you ever want to relive that ever again?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to do that.
But, you don't? No, hold on. You don't know what he means. Let me refresh your memory. In the Super Bowl, the Falcons were up 28-3, and then they lost to Tom Brady after decidedly just trying to continue to throw the ball when running the ball.
But here's the thing about that whole season was so many fun memories. I enjoyed all of it. I miss Kyle Shanahan calling plays for my football team. This year, 10 times worse because every week is pain. And I've logged so many more hours of pain this year versus the little pain that I had for the last game of the season. Yeah,
I'll drink to that, buddy. Yeah, I'm with you.
Right? Like, it's way worse doing this every Sunday. I'm like, my family was over on Sunday afternoon, and the rain's happening. The Falcons are falconing. You just were waiting for the bottom to fall out, and then Dez throws the ball on a rollout when all they had to do was run it out and kick a field goal and win, and he throws into double coverage and just throws the game away. And that's
in front of 13 people.
There were that was the smallest turnout of an NFL regular season game I may have ever seen. And I don't know if they counted that, but it looks like
crazy.
It had to be.
It's even better too that they won. That's what was hilarious.
I didn't think it was funny.
People showed up.
I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun. It was terrible.
Draft pick for you.
So overall,
not a draft pick. They're still okay. They're still
overall head coaching wise. I'm not sure how many coaches actually are. Like, I'm not sure if this coaching pool is going to be super great. I mean, the best name available is probably going to be Mike Macdonald, and while he is phenomenal, there's just a lot of unprovenness. Like, he's only been a defensive coordinator for 2 years in the NFL, and that I think the Chargers will kind of get scared off by Brandon Staley. Who also had 2 years calling a defense at the NFL level. So I'm going to temporarily sell on the thought that they go to a young, innovative mind to spurning a experienced name. But it depends on who actually is up for a head coaching job this year.
I mean, Eric Bieniemy wouldn't surprise me in LA.
I don't think. I think he's getting the Commander's job. I think that was part of.
I don't think so.
I think
that's actually why I was going to say Bill. I think Bill ends up in DC. My gut tells me this. Yeah.
Why the Chiefs? Why he left the Chiefs to go to the Commanders? I think partially was I'm going to get this head coaching job as soon as this guy leaves.
That's three jobs in the NFL that they did that. That's unprecedented because you have Dennis Allen doing that in New Orleans. You have Todd Bowles getting it now in Tampa Bay, and then you promote from within again there. You don't see that very often.
Do you guys really think that Bill Belichick is going to actually continue to coach?
I do think he wants to break Shula's record. I'm going to bet on him breaking it.
I would bet.
I think he wants to, but at the same time, man, I think he's also going to want to be the GM.
And that's why I would, like, if I'm the Chargers, I wouldn't want to pursue Belichick because he's been an awful GM for the past 4 years. And you look at like what their money situation is next year, 58% of their cap is tied up into Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams. They still have to extend Rashawn Slater in the next.
Can they get rid of those?
Like they can get rid of
Keenan, right?
I think Keenan re-signs. Mike Williams and Joey Bosa are cap casualties.
Do you think that Joey Bosa signs with the 49ers?
Don't start this, man.
I'm just asking. It's not even a homer thing. Like listen, it's family. You know how they are. You know how those Bosas are, baby.
Nick and Joey Bosa joining forces would be like Homelander teaming up with his son in season 4 of The Boys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
goodness gracious.
I wonder if this is the job that a coach who hasn't been a coach for a while in the league now comes back and gets. Like, is this the Mike McCarthy hire for Dallas? Like, this is probably that's probably what you're going to end up doing.
Marvin Lewis, come on down.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it.
I would always stand for Marvin Lewis. Underrated.
Marvin Lewis is fine. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have any sort of playoff success, but I mean, he turned around a god-awful Bengals franchise, so good for him.
And solid for a long time.
Solid for that. Here's the thing. That's what Mike Tomlin's become, though, is Marvin Lewis. And I don't want Marvin Lewis, respectfully. So. Look at me all you want like that, JP. That's fine. As a Steelers fan, I've dealt with that.
What if Marvin Lewis had been Roethlisberger for 20 years?
Hey,
yeah, Carson Palmer for a while.
We have to end on this note. We have to. I'm surprised. I feel like you just haven't seen it because I can't imagine. Jalen Hurts in the presser after the end of the game he mentions he doesn't think the team is committed enough right now. When asked what that means, he says commitment. I don't have a dictionary on me now.
Oh, this team is there's gonna be a come to Jesus meeting.
House of Cards, baby.
There's gonna be a come to Jesus meeting.
Jalen Hurts.
Enjoying all this.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Frauds.
Also, the difference between the playoffs between the NFC and the AFC this year is going to be just. I mean, I know where my eyeballs will be in January, and it's going to be every AFC playoff game and really nothing in the NFC.
Isn't it crazy though how we like halfway through the season we were like, wow, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Niners, like these look like some good teams, and right now it's like. The Niners get that first round bye. The beginning of the playoffs might be. Well, I don't think actually. I disagree because I do think
ugly.
I think there's some NFC teams that are going to squeak in like the wild card that might actually do some damage because the Eagles are collapsing.
I think the Packers could if they can stay alive, but like the Rams are going to be fun if they get in, depending on who they play.
The Rams, I don't want to agree with that because I'm division rival.
Also, how great would it be for Stafford to beat Detroit? And
I was just about to say, there's
Stafford going into Detroit and winning a playoff game there,
or Detroit beating Stafford.
I think this is the year that a 7 seed beats a 2.
Oh,
I agree.
I think this is the we're gonna get the big upset because
I think the Packers could beat the Eagles.
As of right now, the Rams play the Cowboys as a 7-2 seed. The Colts play the Dolphins. The Vikings play Detroit, which we're going to see twice over the final portion of this season.
Those two teams always play just football games, too, so that would be interesting.
The Bengals play Kansas City. I would be very cautious about that game if I was
Jake Browning's not winning a road playoff game in Arrowhead.
Hey, listen, man, they wrote him off, and he didn't write back.
Jake Browning might not win that game, But Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and that defense absolutely can win you a game in Arrowhead.
Also, shout out to T's mom, by the way, on Twitter.
That was
Oak Ridge stand up.
Oh, yeah.
She's funny.
And then the 4 or 5 games are the Eagles going to Tampa and then the Browns going to Jacksonville. So I feel like this is the year that there is a 7-2 upset.
Browns Jags will be nasty.
If the Bills get in as the 7th seed, like they don't have to win the AFC East, which is looking a little more slim right now just because the Texans pulled off a win with Case Keenum at quarterback and Jake Browning has played well. But in a world where they do get in, if they were to go back to Arrowhead, like I don't care what seed Buffalo is, I don't want to play them if I'm an AFC team.
Would you pick? Who would you pick right now? Quickly, Bills at Miami and a 2-7.
If the Bills get in the playoffs, I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so you got Bills beat Miami. Would you go that far, JP? Would you pick them over Miami?
I think it depends on how healthy Miami is.
While he thinks
let's say they're healthy,
they're fully healthy. I am going to pick Miami.
Okay,
because I think Miami.
But there's some hesitation there.
I think
it's a nerve-wracking game if you're a Dolphins fan.
I think Miami's defense is a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season. They were a major issue beginning because every Vic Fangio defense starts off slow, and then they put it together.
Yeah,
when they're healthy, that DB room is so talented, talented.
There's a situation too where so Miami plays Dallas and Baltimore, and if they enter week 18 with 5 losses or 6 losses and Buffalo enters with 6 losses, well, guess what? Week 18 is for the division, and depending on how seeding works out, Miami's probably going to be the 5 seed. So we're going to run back Bills, Dolphins the very next week and the wild card round. So that's what I think is going to happen. And I think that if Buffalo runs sweeps them 3 times, that's a big statement, especially in division.
So without doing any of the other games, if the Bills going into week 18, if they win the next 2 games and the Dolphins lose the next 2 games, that game is for the division, essentially. But I don't think Miami loses the next 2 games.
I think they split. Well, even if they enter week 18 with only 5 losses, if Buffalo wins, that would put Miami at 6 losses and the Bills would still win the division.
But yeah, I think I'm very it's going to be early, of course, because it's Tuesday, but I think the Dolphins beat Dallas this weekend. I think they do. I am just not very encouraged by what I saw from the Cowboys' run defense and the motion and their problems against motion. Guess what Miami likes to do?
When is that?
That's this Sunday.
Sunday. Is that a 4:00?
Probably.
Okay.
Let's see.
Fun fact about Miami's run game real quick.
420, yeah. Cool.
Raheem Mostert has 20 rushing touchdowns. The Pittsburgh Steelers have 20 offensive touchdowns. So there's that.
Jarrett and I have had the same season, basically. Just hanging around the playoffs, really bad quarterback play, 2 coaches that we just don't want coaching our team anymore.
Mason Rudolph starting against the Bengals. I hope
Heineke's probably going to start the final 2 weeks here.
I hope that Trace McSorley starts before the season's over. As a Penn State homer, I would love nothing more than for the chaos of that. I'm in. Give it to me.
Your franchise quarterback is not in the concussion protocol with the playoffs on the line.
We'll end on this, fellas. Evan, your MVP is right now.
I gotta say Brock Purdy just because
I knew that was gonna be Brock Purdy.
I mean, listen, I mean, realistically speaking, I think Trent Williams has done as much for the team as Christian McCaffrey or Brock Purdy has, but he'll never get it. And I think Christian McCaffrey is insane, and it's an MVP caliber season. But the fact that every single person all year long has said that Brock Purdy is not really this good. And everything that you've said he can't do, he continues to go out. People will be like, oh, he can't throw the long ball. And then he'll go out and throw 4 touchdown passes, all 20 yards each. They'll say oh, he's just dink and dunking. And then the next week he'll have the longest air yards stat. And then like, oh, well, it's only because it's just like he just has done everything on every level against every challenge, and he keeps doing it. I mean, he's beat every team, all the best defenses. He's going to be the first quarterback the 49ers have had to throw for 4,000 yards in 20 plus years. It's he's very deserving of it, but so is McCaffrey.
Jarrett, who is your MVP as of right now?
Mine would be McCaffrey. Leads the NFL in rushing yards, has 57 additional catches for 7 more touchdowns. He's got 20 touchdowns on the year, I think is the number.
20, yeah.
You're
absolutely just saying that because you don't want to give it to Birdie.
I don't think that because I think McCaffrey's the more valuable player on the team. So I just don't think that Purdy. Again, I'm not on the wagon that Purdy stinks. No, he's a good quarterback. I'm not taking that away from him. Ben Solak did a really good breakdown of it last week in the play sheet, where the play that he broke down, George Kittle ran like a skinny post, and the Seahawks linebackers took care of it. So he dumped it to Debo. It was like a 7-yard completion. It was anything crazy, but his point was he paused it at that point, and he's like, okay, now guess how many yards Debo Samuel gets here. And he's like, you think 9, 10? No, Debo got 30. So I'm not saying Brock Purdy's a bad quarterback. I think Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, but I don't think that he can get the MVP when he's not the most valuable guy on his team. So I would give it to McCaffrey personally. I think that what he's done, he's absolutely the nucleus of that offense. And the 49ers aren't in the position they are without Christian McCaffrey. So I think that this should be the first year, as of right now, that a non-quarterback should win, and it should be McCaffrey just because he's done everything and more for San Francisco so far.
All right, JP.
I know who JP's going to say, and I'm fine with his pick as well.
Lamar motherfucking Jackson.
I'm okay with
that.
I'm
okay with that too.
Of the league. So, also going to reference Ben Solak here. Lamar Jackson's on pace for 3,770 passing yards and 900 rushing yards on the season. Lamar Jackson's going to be the only quarterback to ever do that. He's going to be the only player to do that. Also, I think we kind of don't understand how much Lamar carries on his shoulders when it comes to the run game. J.K. Dobbins gone for the year. Keaton Mitchell gone for the year. Gus Edwards been in and out of the lineup. Justice Hill is a third down back. Lamar Jackson is that offense. I think you're going to look at the advanced numbers like EPA and that's cool. When you watch Lamar Jackson, that is an MVP. He is playing his best football, better than when he was the unanimous MVP. So, and also the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. So I really do think the MVP is going to be decided on Christmas. That game is basically going to decide who wins MVP. But right now, I picked Lamar in the preseason. I have no reason to not pick Lamar now. Look, again, as someone whose team has seen Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar is right up there with Mahomes. That dude is different. The dude moves different. He made so many of our defensive linemen look so stupid. He made so many of our defenders look stupid. And he's not even running full speed. If you watch him, he's very clearly just moving at 80% maybe, because he's so good at not taking a massive crushing hit, where he's just kind of oh, I'll just go down now. I don't have to do this, but I'm just going to go down. So that when you watch him, he moves. That is an MVP player.
I like it. I'll say for me, there's a lot of good choices this year. I kind of struggle there because McCaffrey, you can make the case, but I think it depends on how these final 2 weeks go. If the Dolphins get the first, if they sneak into the number 1 seed, I think Tyreek Hill has a really good case for MVP.
I think for Tyreek to win, he has to break 2K.
Okay.
Or at least come very close to it, 19.
I mean, Calvin Johnson has 1,984 yards. That's a single season record. You got to get that. He is, I think, 458 yards away from 2,000.
Yeah,
which
not playing against the Jets definitely hurt that.
He needs 153 yards each game over the next 3 games to do that, which is certainly possible. I mean, with the amount of man coverage the Cowboys play and the boom or bust ability of DeRon Bland,
I'll say this too, and that's fine. I know that everybody's gonna, say that Jarrett doing his typical thing again, but Bills went out and get in the playoffs. Joshua Patrick Allen should be in the conversation.
No, too many tough games this year that he played bad in.
I don't know. Myles Garrett still kind of in there, maybe a little bit.
I don't think so.
I think Myles Garrett is Defensive Player of the Year, but I think the shoulder injury plus like Joe Flacco actually being good kind of hurts his MVP case.
Yeah,
because
I didn't know if that would help his narrative. Like if they get in the playoffs with Flacco and all the different quarterbacks they've had playing, and it's like because the defense has been so dominant, they probably have to win the division.
It would have if they were winning games like 9-6. But Joe Flacco's out here putting up 38 points.
Yeah.
Like
I just gotta say, I don't know if I'm like Lamar to me is the only quarterback other than Purdy that's deserving this year. Like I understand that the Niners have a stacked roster, but like it's crazy to me seeing Josh Allen have only 8 wins right now, seeing where Trevor Lawrence is at right now. Like these elite quarterbacks are not able to carry the load. And hey, maybe they never should have been in the first place. Maybe teams should have been more balanced, but like I want my elite quarterbacks to be elite. 8 wins is not elite.
To be fair.
Christ. Okay. JP, go ahead.
To be fair.
Before I snap.
I guess I will defend my franchise quarterback first. I think we massively overrated the Jaguars roster in the offseason.
Especially the past defense.
You guys don't get to do this. You don't get
but let me finish. Let me finish. Because I was one of those people who massively overrated the Jaguars roster.
Swear to God, dude.
This team is...
They were massively underrated last year when they were playing well, and they're massively overrated this year. They're playing bad.
They weren't massively underrated last year.
They were. Christian Kirk, man, look how good he's playing.
That's not being underrated. That's just being good.
Yeah, just acknowledging that he's playing well.
Christian Kirk is not he's a very jag. He's just another guy. There was a reason why we were all hyped about that contract.
Sure.
Just another guy.
Sure, man. All right, I'm not even going to get into that. But the entire offense is built on like Trevor Lawrence getting this offense out of bad situations with an offensive line that has you and I playing on it right now. Yeah. And with Christian Kirk, who is a very good receiver on the sidelines. Calvin Ridley just hasn't been hasn't been what they traded.
That's been the biggest thing for them is like Calvin really hasn't been that alpha one that they thought he would be.
Again, the 49ers and Brock Purdy have had some of the worst offensive line play of any winning team all year long. Like they have. It's the statistically some of the worst outside of Trent Williams. The team has had really bad offensive line play all year. That's Googleable. He has like one of the highest pressure rates of any quarterback.
So, San Francisco is currently 8th in the NFL in pass block win rate, according to.
Yes, right now, Feliciano came in at the end of this, like the last few games, and has played really well since. Before that, like look at the actual games throughout the year.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are 30th in pass block win rate.
Yeah, not great.
Like this team sucks up front. But I think getting that team to 8 wins, like it's not an MVP, like it's not MVP caliber. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is an MVP caliber player this year, but them getting the 8 wins, pretty good. It's not what you expected. It's pretty good. And they still have a good shot to win the division, make the playoffs. When it comes to Josh Allen,
allow me to really defend Josh Allen real quick.
Go ahead.
The guy who leads the NFL in total touchdowns, total offensive yards. That's impressive to do considering the fact that outside of Stephon Diggs, his receivers are Trent Sherfield, Khalil Shakir, who the hell is Deontay Hardy. They fired their offensive coordinator midseason because the offense just wasn't working. He was expected to do everything. Now, you get, okay, James Cook's finally being affiliated and they're playing better overall. Josh Allen didn't have 12 guys on the field against Denver. That's a win if Sean McDermott and the rest of the team doesn't have that mental lapse. Josh Allen didn't let Mac Jones drive down the field in the last drive of the game after he put them up with less than 2 minutes left. Josh Allen didn't tuck his tail and go to overtime against the Philadelphia Eagles or let the Eagles tie the game after he put them up with less than 2 minutes left. If the Bills just hold on to those games, they're an 11-win team right now. Josh Allen take control of his defense.
You're missing the point, though. I think Josh Allen's a fantastic quarterback.
I didn't say that you didn't think that.
If the Niners had Josh Allen, they would be probably undefeated right now. That's not my point. My point is he just shouldn't be a part of the MVP conversation. At all.
I can hear that argument. My point is that if they win out and he continues putting up the numbers that he is, he should at least be in the conversation. I don't think he would win it, but I think it'd be like, okay, Josh Allen, maybe in there.
Yeah,
I mean, he'll get votes.
Why would he get votes over Lamar or Josh?
Not like first place votes, but like he would get, third place.
He's getting votes. I'm not saying he's getting first place votes. He's going to get votes.
Yeah. And like when you look and sticking in the AFC South, like I think what CJ Stroud has done to this point in the season with like coming into this season, his leading receiver was Nico Collins, who had a career high of 37 catches last year, helping that team get to 8 wins where they are now. He doesn't have Tank Dell anymore. He's going to have to figure out that for the final few weeks of the year. I think what doing is going to sound like I'm discrediting, so forgive me, but like what CJ Stroud has done to me is more impressive than what Purdy's done, simply because he's doing more with a lot less.
I wouldn't say he's doing more with a lot less. They've got their offensive weapons are playing very well this year. Noah Brown.
You're telling me that you take Noah Brown over Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk or any.
But they're first. Like this is Nico Collins' first year on like a serviceable team. This is Noah Brown's like I'm saying these are young guys. Like you can't compare them to established like elite players, but they're not. But they're going to continue to play well. Like I have a feeling that they're going to have a really good team next year because of those players.
Also, as a whole, I think the Texans' offensive line might be better than San Francisco's this year.
It probably is
because Laramie Tunsil is
very good,
just as good as Trent Williams. I mean, and then
they did just lose. They lost Howard for the year with that.
Titus Howard played very well. Shaq Mason has been phenomenal at right guard. And this isn't to discredit Brock Purdy at all. I've written about how Brock Purdy has played. He has improved, and he's also been a drastic difference in what the 49ers offense has had and what they needed at quarterback. I think he is going to get a lot of votes for MVP. But I also think he's going to split votes with Christian McCaffrey because that's just the nature of the beast. Like he's going to end up splitting votes with a guy who has how many touchdowns this year?
20.
He's got 20 touchdowns this year.
13 on the ground, 7 receiving.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's going to end up splitting votes with a guy who has 20 touchdowns this year. That's what it is. Like with Lamar, he's not splitting with anybody. Like that is the offense is Lamar.
And I kind of got like earlier in the year, like comparing Lamar to Josh Allen and whatnot. Like when the Ravens get inside the 1, it's been a lot of, okay, here's Gus Edwards. Okay, here's Justice Hill running for a yard, but like it was, Lamar getting them down there. So he might not have the gaudy touchdown numbers, but he's, the biggest reason why they are in that position in the first place.
Look at the Twitter DM that I just sent you guys. This is a month ago. Pass, what's it called? Offensive line grades and true pass sets.
Oh,
this is great audio, by the way. I'm sure for all these podcasts.
I mean, well, I don't think that this late into the pod, there's going to be like 2 people listening.
Not true.
But yeah, not true. Just statistically. The 49ers were ranked 26th in the league. It wasn't until Feliciano, like I mentioned this last month, really came in and has played very well. But my point is, going up until this was November 14th, Brock Purdy had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL in true pass situations.
Does that also takes into account no Trent Williams?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
That's why they're not last.
Again, it's going to be hard to win MVP when the other guy on your team also has 20 touchdowns and is playing the best football of his career.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not going to argue Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I think the best example of why I think it should be McCaffrey more is against the Cardinals on, I think it was a second touchdown. He catches it downfield with nobody within like 30 yards of him. Like, good for Brock Purdy for making sure that it got there. It was a deep ball downfield, but there's nobody within, a 15-yard circumference of Christian McCaffrey, who then stood up, made himself a sandwich, did his taxes before he ran into the end zone. Like, Purdy is excelling in this system, and kudos for him. He's better than the previous guy and the previous guy. But I don't think that he's the most valuable guy on the offense.
JP Acosta, what can the good folks check out from you over at sbnation.com this week?
Got a pretty cool story coming out tomorrow. Once a year I try and do an in-depth like film scheme piece just on the general landscape of the NFL. So that's going to be coming out tomorrow. Establish the fun every Friday because football's fun. We're establishing that. Also, just follow me Twitter, follow me on Threads, see what I'm doing, watch some film with me. It's pretty fun.
There you go. Jarrett Bailey, what about you and all the stuff you got going on at Behind the Steel Curtain, USA Today, the Pump Fake, and everywhere else right now?
I did a piece on the Chargers actually today of why fans are having images of Ben Johnson and Bobby Slowick dancing in their heads on Christmas season, but this is a franchise that has a lot more baggage than it is beauty, and I think it's going to take a lot more than Justin Herbert to lure somebody in. So I did a piece on that, kind of breaking down what their money looks like right now going into 2024, what it could look like in 2025 once that contract extension does hit for Herbert. So it's going to be hard to lure somebody really noteworthy to Los Angeles simply because of that. So I wrote about that, power rankings as well. They'll be out by the time that this podcast is up on USA Today. Behind the Steel Curtain, all the Steelers stuff, talking about how Rashard Mendenhall wants to not stop listening to white people talk about football and have a white versus black Pro Bowl, which Will Compton, by the way, broke down incredibly today. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Just like to say, Patrick Mahomes uses ketchup on steak. We call him.
No. His dad black as hell.
I don't care. He uses ketchup on steak. We call him. He's all-time quarterback. He can play quarterback for both teams. JP, I'm telling you right now, I am saying this with my chest. If your quarterback sounds like Kermit the Frog and puts ketchup on steak, we get him. Have you seen his hair? That don't look like none of y'all hair.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm team Mahomes is on.
You know what? You know what's funny that you say that? You just said that.
What?
That's my best friend. He just sent me that photo today. If he grew his hair out, they have the same hair. That's fake hair. That is is Rogaine material. No, man. No, I'm telling you, dude. Patrick Mahomes is ours. See, I thought Rashard Mendenhall was talking about doing a Pro Bowl between black football analysts and white football analysts. Oh, which in that case, y'all are getting smoked. Oh, yeah,
I don't know, man. Well, actually, yeah, probably. Yeah. Because, let's see. Orlovsky's our quarterback, right? Or Hasselbeck?
No, he's Steve Young.
Where's Steve Young at right now?
Oh, you're talking about like right now?
Steve Young's like 60.
I would take Orlovsky right now.
Right now, probably Orlovsky, yeah. But who cares about that? I thought he was just talking about white.
The most important position on the field.
I think he was talking about whites versus blacks. Jarrett, I'm sorry, you're getting cooked.
Here's the thing, JP. I'm locking your ass down. How tall are you, JP?
I'm 6'2".
All right, I'm not covering JP in this game.
Jarrett, where were you going with that? He's going to pancake you. I think you were going to do
I don't know why I asked. Like, I've seen you in person, and you are taller than me. So
wait, JP, how much do you weigh? I'm right now 268. Oh, I'm fucking running so fast past you. You will never touch me.
We're running zone coverage, baby. I'm
dog.
I'm the cover 2 flat defender.
Hold on, Evan. I've seen your knees right now. You got? Are we sure?
What are you talking about? I'm in the best shape of my life. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that doesn't. You can be in great shape, and your knees can still be a little.
That was over a year ago. I'm great.
Doesn't matter. You haven't done those kind of sprints. They pop back up, man. You gotta be careful with our age.
I'm playing zone coverage, baby.
I don't need lateral quickness. I'm just going.
Evan's like Mike Allstott. He's the Mike Allstott for this team. We're bringing the fullback back.
Crazy.
No way. I'm a tight end. I'm 6'1".
I can promise
almost
you
200 pounds.
that Team White NFL media members are playing strictly zone coverage and dropping 8. We are not risking anything.
I don't know. I feel like Dalton Miller might be able to do something on the outside. Can he be our Jason Sehorn?
He might be able to be like our Jason Sehorn because he's shredded. I don't know of any. Where are we putting Solak? I think Solak might be.
Hold on a second. Wait, if you guys think Dalton Miller's shredded,
Dalton Miller's stacked, bro.
Yeah. Why am I not getting talked about like that?
I've heard about the knees.
I want my coming for your knees. I haven't heard anything about your knees.
I don't think Dalton Miller's too shredded. Like
I've seen him shirtless recently. Bro's packing.
I'm pretty sure
that sounded. Let me rephrase. He's got a big
abs. He's got a huge dick.
Massive abs.
Hey, Dalton Miller.
You're treading on thin ice.
Dalton Miller can't run the 40 because he's dragging a hog the whole time.
That massive hog.
Remember Chris Jones?
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
I can't
being weighed down by that rhinoceros horn.
I cannot believe you said that.
I couldn't have. I probably should have.
You know what's great? We're talking
about somebody's gonna send this to Dalton Miller too, and he's gonna be. I'm gonna get a DM tomorrow.
Hold on. I need you guys to understand something. Within the last 24 hours, 4 podcasters have talked about Dalton Miller's Johnson. Well, he also just had a brand new child. He was holding a brand new baby on the same day that we were talking about Dalton's big giant penis. That poor wife of his.
Well, aside from Dalton Miller and his massive Johnson, I don't know who. Ben Solak's going to be Team White coach.
I'll use Ben Solak as a baseball bat. I will just swing him at people.
Solak's about my height, so we're both smaller guys.
What you're probably 5'8"? I thought he was like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, he's around there. I'm 5'8". He's around my height.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say you were 5'6". I'm like, you're not 5'6".
I don't care. We got DJ the enemy on the squad.
That's
yeah.
I just
did he do track? I feel like he did track. Yeah, that's not fair. Yeah,
terrific at track.
Listen, hold on.
I just had DJ on the pump fake. So
I just want to say, if we're talking analysts, it's over before it starts. It's over before it starts. It's going to be.
No, we're running the triple. We're gonna keep this low scoring. We're gonna do what we need to do.
Think you want to do that either?
You want to run the triple option?
Is Swagoo playing in this?
Oh my god! Eric Crocker is going to spear.
Oh, we got Crocky too.
Crocky is still in game shape.
Y'all are so cooked.
I will be running away.
I stayed with Croc last year when we were in Mobile, and just like walking next to him, I was pissed. I didn't want to be near him in public. He just made me look like such an inferior man.
I gotta say, you guys clearly don't understand, but I am pretty jacked right now. Mm-hmm. And even still, when I was next to Croc at the Niners fan thing, we were talking to each other, we took a picture together. I'm 6'1", I'm a big boy, and he is so much bigger than me. And he's only 6'2", so he's only an inch, but he's just big boy.
No, Croc is still in I feel like Croc just has something to prove all the time. He doesn't want to ever be out of game shape. So he if one of the kids that he trained at his gym or whatnot said, I could beat you, he could always say, no, the fuck you can't. So
yeah, I think he's just one of those guys that just really likes working out. And once he stopped playing football, he's like, now I can really lift.
I'm whatever the opposite of that is. I enjoy sitting with coffee and watching cartoons while I do my columns and I'm content being the skinny guy, you know.
I graduated next to Jacob Warren, who's been the starting tight end for Tennessee the last 3 years, and we walked together almost exactly a year ago today. And I made a joke with him when we were walking out of there, and I was like, "Hey, Jacob, I need you to move a couple steps up. I need you to walk with somebody else. I got family, and my wife's here. I need you." And it cracked him up because he's huge. Like he's just a NFL tight end, but I'm like, I'm 5'11", and this man's 6'6", 6'5", tight end, and he's just gigantic. Like he's just a gigantic dude, and I'm like, man, you make me look very, very small. I need you to walk somewhere else, Jacob.
Like, look at this. Look at this.
That's crazy.
I'm 6'1" and like 191, 192 there. Yeah, he's just a big boy.
When I was in high school, we did a 7-on-7 tournament, and at that same tournament was Brian Robinson.
Oh
say, when you know a dude's gonna make it in the NFL, you know, like the dude's huge, and he was a running back. Like it was insane.
I saw Michael
just some guys you see
playing.
up close, like Walter Nolan over there at Powell. I saw him up close, who's now gonna either be at Georgia or Ole Miss, defensive tackle, 5-star kid. There are some dudes you see. I saw Robert Kimdichie up close when he was at our rival high school at Grayson. They were using him as a running back in goal line situations.
I remember that.
Like Kimdichie was like, and I'm talking like 16-year-old Kimdichie was gigantic. Robert Kimdichie was gigantic.
6'4"?
Yeah.
He's like 6'3", 6'4", but he's like a shredded 290.
Yes.
By the way, real quick, Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 games.
That doesn't feel
638 passing yards, 2 interceptions, 71 passer rating.
Yeah, because they didn't score an offensive touchdown against Dallas.
Hey, I gotta get off. I have the most nasty head cold right now. I'm gonna die. I gotta.
Well, there we go. JP Acosta,
love you guys.
Jarrett Bailey, Evan Sowards. Thank you guys as always. A blast. Glad we're back this week, and I will talk to y'all again very soon.
Miss you guys.